What up? It's your girl Motivation with V. This is Get Real with V, where we're going to get real, we're going to get raw, and we're going to get down to the truth. And I am Veronica Suazo, your host. I'm so excited because today we have a special guest, and it's not just any guest. It's my male cousin, and he's the older cousin. He is somebody that not only me, but a lot of my other cousins looked up to and still look up to. We really admired him. And we always wanted to be around him. He was just a cool guy. And I'm excited to have him today because he's going to share a little bit about his story. He was born and raised in the Mission of San Francisco, and to see how much he has grown as a person, and he's still growing, he's still learning. But to see how much he's changed and evolved as a person, I think is amazing. And I know that there's males out there and just people in general that will get something from this conversation. So without further ado, it's all yours, Mauricito.
What's up?
Say a little bit about yourself.
Man, you kind of already did. Thank you. Made me feel kind of like embarrassed. But yeah, I'm
Why?
because I'm talking about, looking up to me, and it's like, to me, it's hard. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that though. Well,
Okay.
my name is Mauricio.
Okay, we will.
My name is Mauricio. Like you said, I was born and raised in a Mission in San Francisco. I lived there my whole life. Moved out of San Francisco in like 2003. That's when Mom's got a house out in the Ridge. So we went out there, and then man, I was working, and then like I wasn't getting to where I wanted to be, and it was messing with my mental, it was messing with my physical, it was a physiological thing, right? Just all encompassing. So that's when my younger brother, Marlon.
Wait, can I ask real quick, how old were you during that time when you felt that way?
And I think after the first year at college. Yeah.
Okay.
After the first year.
Continue, sorry.
So Marlon had joined the Army right out of high school, and I was still, working construction. I had a job at Home Depot. I was working security at the club, and, I was keeping myself busy. But I wasn't where I wanted to be in here and in here. You know what I mean? So then the economy went kind of bad back in like 07, 08, and that's when Marlon was like, dude, just join the Army and use it as a like a trampoline to bounce off of and get better. And now my old ass is still in the Army. I'm still here right now, trying to hang with these young soldiers over here, and it hurts. My knees and my hips and my back, it hurts. But,
hey, we appreciate your service, for real.
Well, I mean, I do it because it pays the bills, honestly. Like, at the end of the day, it's a job. Yeah. Serving is not for everybody, but for me, I think I told you this, like, I felt like I was put here to give back. And, I tried to apply to be PD and fire department. I would never get hired. So these guys took me. Somebody had to hire me, right? So these guys took me, and
that's true. You know what? That's their loss, honestly, for them not hiring you. Like, that's a huge loss. It frustrates me that they pass up on a lot of good people that really could make a difference in the police force, even the fire department. But hey, that wasn't part of your journey.
Yeah.
And that's all right. I'm sure you're making a difference with what you're doing right now.
Yeah, I'd like to think I am. And to get deep really quick, it's a question.
Let's get deep.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a question that as a man I have every day. Like, what am I doing? Am I really contributing? Like, am I hurting my family? Am I hurting my kids? Am I causing generational trauma because I didn't make better decisions when I was younger? You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. But I roll with the punches and I just go with it.
Yeah, I think a lot of men struggle with that. I mean, even myself in general, I'm always asking myself, how can I contribute to this world? How can I make a positive impact with my family, my friends, just people in general? And I think all of us as humans just have this like urge to want to give back and have purpose. And we can't change like how we were raised in our childhood, but I think now that we're self-aware and we know that we want to make a difference, I think just being self-aware is the first step. And I think the way you operate as a person, I feel like if you're showing up as a dad to your kids, that's making a difference. You're already doing something that maybe other kids didn't have growing up. I personally think, and this is why I'm really big on working on myself and being the best version of myself, is because if I can work on myself and I could pour into me, then I can pour into my sisters. I can pour into my mom and my dad and family and the people I come across. And I think that in itself is having purpose and just being able to authentically be, for you, be a male figure and give solid advice, talk about what you've been through and how you overcame it and how you're still overcoming it, just being vulnerable, you know?
No, it's
That's just my background.
no, it's true. The key thing that I think that you said was, like you said, pouring into other people's cups, right? The key thing you said is
Mm-hmm.
pouring into your own cup as well. And I think a lot of people, when, culturally for us, for Hispanics, right? I think we help each other out so much that we forget to pour into our own cup. And we tend to like hold ourselves down without knowing that we're doing so because we're helping everybody else out. And I had this conversation with a couple friends of mine recently that sometimes it takes a little bit, and I'm going to say the word selfishness because that's how my culture and my upbringing taught me to see it. But it takes a little bit of selfishness to pour into your
Mm-hmm.
own cup because otherwise, if you're not healthy yourself, how can you help somebody else? Right. So self-care is very important.
100. Yeah. So what would you say you're currently doing for self-care as a male?
Honestly, working out. It's my getaway. Me as a dad, I have my daily routines. I wake up early with my daughter and my wife and make sure the baby's squared away for the day at school. And then, I'm off to work, right? So when I'm at work, I deal with the work
Mm-hmm.
stressors, um, which isn't much now. Once you've been doing your job for a while, you kind of build like a little bit of a rhythm and you can kind of, get through that stuff. But the occasional extra seasoning to the stew sometimes gets a little too spicy and you got to deal with stressors and stuff like that, right? Um,
Yeah.
and then of course, like I'm a married man and like any relationship, there's going to be conflict sometimes. And for everybody out there, conflict is okay as long as it's handled healthily, right? Um, but there's conflict, with marriage too, and that can cause stress and um, having to think about how do I respond to my wife without hurting her feelings? How do I respond where she can hear me? How can I better hear her out without being a typical guy of trying to fix her problem instead of just listening to her, right? That gets me in trouble all the time. Um, but also thinking about how not to impact my daughter. You know, she's already impacted now because when we were all living together in California, all the siblings were there for her. And now she's by herself in this house over here with just me and her mom. So she's like, I want to see my brothers. I want to see my sister. So that gives me some kind of guilt. Like, damn, had I made better decisions when I was younger, my daughter wouldn't be in this situation. You know what I mean? So those stressors.
Yeah, no, that makes
So
sense.
long story longer, how I take care of myself, right? I go to the gym.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Self-care.
yeah. I go to the
The
gym
gym.
and I put on, I put on the music I listened to when I was younger. I listen to Bay Area rappers. For anybody who's from San Francisco, I listen to 11.5. I listen to RBL. I listen to E40. I listen to Forte, Too Short. Everybody from late '80s all the way to like 2000 and like 10ish. That's still on my playlist. So that I put that on, I blast it in my earbuds, and I'm going at it. I'm going hard, and I go home sore as hell. But I'm too tired to think about any other stressor. So that's my way of like working it all out. You know what I mean? So that's how I take care of myself.
Yeah.
but I don't help myself because I don't eat.
No, that's honestly a good way.
Yeah.
You don't what?
I'd be
Wait, say that
made
again?
healthier. I still cheat every now and then with like, having a second serving or whatnot, but that's my way of yeah, man, it's hard.
Hey, as long as you're happy, I think that's all that matters. And it sounds like the gym for you is like a mental thing. So it's not necessarily that you probably want to physically look like a bodybuilder, right? But it's just more of like mental clarity for you. And you're able to show up more powerfully for your wife and your kids. So I think that's what the gym does for you. And I can relate to that because the reason why I am in the gym all the time and eating healthy is because it literally stimulates my mind and it just helps me operate every day in a more positive way. And that's self-care. I think that's like one of the biggest things anyone could do for themselves. I swear. Like I feel like your whole life will change with just being consistent at going to the gym and kind of like changing your mind. Because I feel like people when they think of the gym, they're like, oh, it's like a chore, like they have to do it. But I think like if you change your mind to like want to use that as like me time to like know that you're like working towards progress and your goals and your body and just mental clarity, I feel like a lot more people would be going to the gym.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, now it's the gym, but before it was playing sports growing up. I played every sport growing up. So that gave me like an escape, really. Think somebody asked me, why do you keep playing like these sports? Like, aren't you getting old now? Like, and I remember specifically like, when I was going through like something tough in my life. I remember going to play indoor soccer with my dad, actually. One of the few times that we actually spent some quality time together. We'd go to this place in Vallejo and man, going over there and playing indoor soccer, like it was like an escape. Because when you're in there playing the sport, whether it's be basketball, football, baseball, whatever, you're not thinking about nothing else but that game. So that was also another form of like, self-care for me before the gym.
That's another good self-care too. You were also part of a like a little family too.
Yeah.
And doing it with your dad probably meant a lot to you
Oh my
too.
God. You want to go deep? Shit. Oh my.
We can get deep. Go ahead. Let it all out.
Like that's,
What you want to get into?
I mean, ask the question. Go ahead. Ask whatever question you got and I got you.
Okay. What was it like growing up as a young man in your environment? And when I say that, it could be anything, whatever the environment is for you. I knew you were born and raised in the mission, and I know there's a lot of values that were instilled in us. What was it like growing up in that environment, or even like with your with your parents, like anything that's particular to that environment for you?
Well, for the first 5 to 6 years, I remember what I felt was like kind of lonely because I was the only one. Y'all weren't born yet. I think I was 5 or 6 when Evelyn was born, but I remember I had to go to preschool at a young age because mom was working. She was no negativity or shade thrown towards my dad, but he wasn't ready to be home every night and every day with the baby that he made. You know what I mean? And as a man now, I understand that we make mistakes and we need to be accountable to our mistakes. But it was tough being just, mostly with moms in the house, just her. I learned at a young age not to ask her where Pop was because of how she would react. She would get sad and I didn't like seeing moms that way. You know what I mean? So at a very young age, I learned like, don't even ask her where he's at anymore because I used to be like, where's dad? And when is he going to come home? What time is he coming home? And mom never lied.
Damn.
She never lied.
That...
She never lied to me, right? But I can tell you, she never badmouthed my dad. She never talked negative about him. So
shout out to my tia.
I still grew up with a bunch of respect towards him. Shit, I had a very genuine and healthy fear of my father because when he was around, he had a huge impact on me because he wasn't around a lot. So as a young boy, I was looking for that father figure. And the little time that I did have with him impacted me so much. So he, little things I remember to this day, like he taught me how to sit at a table, how to hold my utensils, how to eat, chew with your mouth closed, how to speak to your elders, how to properly talk to your tias and your tios, your grandparents. You don't talk to them like in a more direct way. It's more of like a ustedes, usted, ¿cómo está usted? ¿Cómo estás tú? And it's a different way, right? We know, right? So it's because
Yeah.
with moms and tias, man, like they kind of hood a little bit. They kind of Latin hood. So that my
They
yeah,
hood. They
man,
from
yeah,
yeah.
and they to this day, man, my tias, man, they go crazy, man. Um, but Pop taught me that, and he made a big impact on me. Um, Mom never disrespected him. She never talked bad about him. So my whole life, I had this yearning for validation from him. And I think only one time I ever felt it was when I was already an adult. But before that, it was more like, what do I got to do to get him home? And my mom never knew that I thought like that. She never knew that I thought about him every day, like, when's he coming? What time is he coming today? It would be days, weeks,
Yeah.
months. And we had that big ass apartment in the Mission, just me and Mom's. And that's why now I'm domesticated.
I remember that
Yeah,
apartment.
man. Like
What?
bro, like, cause it was just me and Mom, like I cook, I clean, I do laundry, like I vacuum, I do all that shit. I do all that because that's what I was around. That's what I was taught. That was my environment. You know what I mean? It was tough. It was a lot of hard lessons because I didn't have a male figure there to like be like, don't move that way, do it this way. You know what I mean? Just on a regular basis, I didn't have that.
That makes a lot of sense. Because I have a similar journey as you, but it's nice that you at least still had your dad present to like when he was there, he would show you things and that those are things you can remember. I know for me, I have nothing besides when I was like young little Vettel, running and wanting to be with dad. And then as I got older, I don't know, like he was working 2 jobs. He was tired. Like now that I'm older, like I completely understand where parents are coming from, but it still hurts.
Yeah.
It still hurts that we didn't get what we needed, but we also understand that they were living on survival mode. They were trying to make sure there was a roof over our head, that we had food on the table, and they didn't have the resources or weren't as woke as we are to know that not only is it important for them to be there physically, but we need them like emotionally and just being present in general. Growing up without really having your dad, you said that you felt like you were seeking validation a lot. Do you feel like that showed up in your relationships too? Like needing validation from your girlfriends or like needing validations from friends?
Definitely. Definitely. It definitely did. I didn't know how to assert myself as a young man, when I became a teenager. That and also being raised in the church, right? So two very important things. So grandma, she had converted to Jehovah's Witness, right? And then I was also going to a Catholic school. We all went to Catholic school in the city, right? Good thing we did. Reading the Bible and getting all the the ideology from that, and not having a male figure to tell me, hey, this is what life actually is. I know these ideas in the Bible tells you this, and this is how Jesus wants you to be, but not everybody reads the Bible. Not everybody is going to act this way. So, man, like when I went to high school, it was a slap in the face, like a reality. Like it was things that I would see, like going, on the bus by myself that I didn't see going to St. James. Now I'm going to Lincoln High School over there, and I'm like, yo, I had to catch the 14 down to 24th Street, catch the 48, go through here, pass through like McAteer High School. And like back then, like Mac was known for like, not for their academia, right? So They weren't known for that. I'm not,
Yeah.
not knocking the people that went to Mac.
Shit was different.
It's all love, right? Not knocking anybody who went to Mac, but um, it was eye opening because I had to posture myself in a way that I didn't look too soft. Because otherwise, for a guy, too soft, you're gonna get picked on or something. You know what I mean? And there's a song that 40 has where he says, he says, practice looking hard, and man, we got that down. Everybody in the Bay Area that I know, like, you can't look at somebody for more than 1 second. It's like, they start responding, and it's not disrespectful. It's like, hey, we're all doing the same thing, bro. We're all practicing looking hard because we don't want nobody messing with us, So I learned that lesson real quick.
Dude, that's so true.
So what was the question?
It was about your environment. What was it like?
It was hard. It was hard. Because again, like to kind of recap, right, is like the religious thing and then not having pop there, and me trying to assert myself as a young man, it was hard. And did it affect my relations with my girlfriends? Hell yeah. As a man now at my age, I can admit, yes, it really fucking did. And I hurt my ex-girlfriends not knowing that I was doing it, not knowing what I was doing, right?
Yeah.
I tried to be a gentleman. I never called them out of their name. I never treated them abusively. I never did any of that. But the way I moved was disrespectful to them because I had to be the man, right? I had to be the man. When I was younger, my uncles would ask, "How Mauricio, cuántas novias tenés?" Right? How many girlfriends? Right?
Yo.
But here I am.
Yeah.
Shit, I got 5 of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought that's how you were supposed to be. You know what I mean? And man, like that on top of like the culture and the music and all that, and what I was growing up to, what I was listening to, like I was trying to be the Mac. I was trying to be, like that, and it gave me what I now call a false sense of confidence. Like I thought I was the man, but I was just lost trying to find.
I mean, you low key were the man. We all looked up to you. We were just like, we just thought you were hella cool. But yeah, I can see where like you were lost though.
Mm-hmm. It was, a lot of it was a facade. It's a front. A lot of it is a front. I walked a certain way. I carried myself a certain way. I spoke a certain way. And I felt like I had to do that on the street. But when I was home with all you guys at grandma's house with all my cousins, I can relax and just chill. I can be myself. That's when I was myself, when I was with y'all. So y'all got the true me. Y'all didn't get the me on
the comedian.
Yeah, I'm a clown, man.
I don't think I ever saw your hard side now that I'm thinking about it. Like, you always came off intimidating to me, but I don't think I ever saw that like hard side you're talking about when you had to step out.
I don't like that side of me.
Which makes sense. I mean, there's so many men out there, even women that have that facade, that have that hard exterior because, hey, I get it. Some of the circumstances they're going through, whether they don't have their parents, they have one parent, they're living paycheck to paycheck, like shit's hard. You gotta have that hard exterior to survive. And I'm just hoping that, with this podcast or stuff that I post, I hope that I can get to somebody or just plant that seed, It's obvious, like we can't change nobody, right? Change comes from within. But just being able to plant a seed into someone's and letting that blossom, that's what I hope to get from doing this podcast. And I'm glad that you're, doing this interview with me because I do feel like men will be able to understand your story and get something from it. So I appreciate you sharing.
Yeah. I'm trying to explain myself in a way that is as direct and honest as possible, because I think when they hear my words, if guys listen to what I'm saying, they may be like, oh, I remember doing that too. I remember, I never spoke about it, I never put it in words, but yeah, I remember doing that too, so
You were the life of the party.
I mean, man, when I was like 2 or 3, I was the one that was dancing for all the tias and tios in that grandma's house. So I was the only one until y'all showed up. Y'all started popping up, you know what I'm saying? But I was the one that was dancing more.
Hey,
Theo Allen was a break dancer.
yeah.
So he taught me a little bit.
Was
Yeah.
he?
When he was in high school, yeah, he would be pop locking in the mirror. I
Hey,
remember watching me over there just pop locking and then like, tias, they were always dancing merengue and salsa and punta in the living room. So and I was getting down with them.
yeah, I remember you were always a dancer for sure. And you used to dance at city nights.
Whoa.
Remember you used to do those competitions?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Um, I can neither confirm or deny that.
Run the tape back.
No, man.
No,
Like
I'm kidding.
I did one. I did one competition. I did one, but it wasn't like no. Clarify.
Dude,
It wasn't nothing like like no.
you're a man of all trades.
I'm a what?
You're a man of all trades. I mean, should we tell them about your music too?
Whoa.
This man, I don't know what he can do. That's the question. What can't you do?
What can't I do?
You can literally do it all. Yeah.
I can probably do it all, but I can't master it all. That's what I can't do.
Oh, I can probably do it all, but I can't master it all.
And that's not me.
That's
That's
fire.
not me like saying that I'm putting limitations on myself. That's me being realistic. Um,
Yeah.
not everybody's meant to be a fighter. Not everybody's meant to be an artist. Not everybody's meant to be a dancer. Or you may love it. You may love dancing. You may
Mhm.
love boxing. You may love playing sports, but not everybody has the intangible to master whatever it is they love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most definitely. You can literally be good at everything, but you can't master everything. You got to pick one thing and master that.
Mm-hmm. And right now I'm focusing on mastering
That's,
myself.
say that
I said,
louder.
right now, I've been on a journey now for a while to try to master myself, to try to understand myself better, to love and appreciate myself more. Because as a man, like we're not taught to do that. We're not taught to have good interpersonal skills. We're not taught to be emotionally intelligent, though most of us are. Most of us are aware of what,
It's in us.
yeah, we're aware of what we feel. Like we're very aware of what we feel. We just don't know how to put it into words and how to communicate it. There's different sides to emotional intelligence, right? Um, but yeah, I'm trying to master myself, man, because I need to be the best dad that I can be. I know that I'm not perfect. I know that I'm gonna make mistakes, and that's the best way to learn, man, is mistakes. I can't sit here and say, I'm perfect. I can't sit here and say that I don't make any mistakes because I've made a ton. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I have regrets. Yeah, I mean, people say, "Oh, I live without regrets." Yeah, okay, you do that. We'll see how long you go before start needing help on your mentals. But yeah, I got regrets. I made a lot of mistakes, and that's how I think I've grown a lot. I've learned through my mistakes and through others people's mistakes as well. My daughter, my Lanai, when she was like 15, I forgot how the discussion went, but I had explained to her why I know so much. And I had to have a vulnerable moment with her. She was like, I think she asked, like, how do you know? I told her, you want to know how I know so much? She goes, how? I said, I messed up a lot. I messed up a lot. And I don't want you to mess up like me. So that's why I try to guide you so you don't make the same mess ups. But check me out though. As a dad, she taught me that listening to your kids can be very, very insightful and helpful. She told me, she goes, yeah, like you helped me out and all, but I want you to also let me grow and make the same mistakes so I can learn by myself too. And I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
I mean, because you don't have control.
That is so true.
You can't control people.
Say that again. Sorry.
She told me.
Thank you. Louder, because not a lot of people get that.
She told me that she appreciated that I tried to help out by giving her my feedback or my guidance, right? But she goes, sometimes what she wants to do is go out and experience life for herself and make mistakes herself to learn life herself. Even though I've already told her, she wants to, and that, that took me aback. I was like, why would you want to do that? But I remember, hold on, when I was a teenager, I thought I knew everything too. Right? Like, yeah, they told me, vaya con cuidado, be careful, don't do nothing bad. Okay, yeah, I know, grandma, I know, Tia, I know, mom, I'll be good. But did I mess up? Yeah. I still made dumbass decisions, And I'm here on the army right now, right? Pendejo. I could have been a billionaire or something.
I mean, you still can.
Yeah. Well,
you still can.
I'd rather be a billionaire.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
That's what I'm trying to master myself.
Honestly, let's get you back in the studio. Seriously. Yeah. But no, all jokes aside, I think that's a really great answer. Like, you mastering yourself. And that's like where I'm putting my importance this year too, is mastering myself, especially as I'm going to become a therapist. Like, I can't pour into these clients if I'm not taking care of me. I'm not pouring into me. And for you, it's you're a dad and you want to show up for your wife and you want to show up for your kids. So you taking care of yourself, showing yourself self-love, self-care, unlearning the habits, unlearning the bad thinking, the things that you learned from your childhood, the way you grew up, your experiences, like that's huge. And I feel like a lot of people are asleep. Like, a lot of people out there are just like, I feel like they're aware of it, but it's just like they no tienen ganas to want to like just do more for themselves. You know what I mean? And hopefully, like, hearing, your story and everyone else who comes on this podcast, like, it gives them that fuel to just be like, to wake up, and just be like, damn, I really got to take care of myself. I really got to work on myself, because that's where it starts. And that's where we break generational trauma. Otherwise, it's just this cycle that keeps repeating itself.
On that same token, though, like I told myself I wouldn't be like the kind of parent just like my mom or my dad, right? Like, I want to be a different parent. But
yeah,
man, was I wrong, because you're going to behave the way you were taught. So all I know is how my mom was a parent, how my dad was a parent when he was there, right? So
yeah,
man, like, what's crazy is my wife tells me, she goes, you're just like your mom. And I'm like, what do you mean, right? What do you mean? Hold on. But like you said, right? It's that suazo. It really is, man. It's that suazo, man. Because man, if you knew Grandpa the way I knew Grandpa, man, like that man, right? He was no joke.
That man.
He was no joke.
Mm-hmm.
And Tio Chele and your pop and mom and Tia Tita, like they all got it. They all got it. The only one that's really chill is really like Theo Allen. Like, he's not like, I don't know, maybe I just haven't seen that side, right? But he's always been like super chill, man. But everybody's got that Suazo mug, that that little mean streak. And she tells me, she's like, damn, babe, I see where you get it from. With for a few months, she stayed with my mom for some work stuff. But she was like, you and your mom are the same. Like, the way you talk, the way you approach things, and I'm like, that's the Suazo one. Don't tell her I said that. She ain't. I don't know if she's gonna watch it, but don't tell her I said. She right though. She is right.
Who, your wife?
Yeah, she's right.
She's gonna see this. Shout out to your wife.
Look, there-
Hey, the wife is always right. Nah, not always, not always,
no, no, you're
but
right.
most
You're
of the
right.
time. That's another thing. How was your relationships growing up? Like friendship wise, do you feel like they played a role in your success, or because I feel like your environment, besides your parents and your family, like I do feel like your friends can play a role in your everyday decisions if you let it, if you allow it.
Well, consider consider how all the effects kind of compound each other, right? Like not having pop there all the time, only
Mm-hmm.
being with with mom, and mom can't show me how to be a man. She can show me how to be respectful. She can show me how to be loving,
Mm-hmm.
but she can't show me how to move like a man, right? So who do I got to lean on to? My Uncle Joe that was there a lot of the times, and he helped out a lot. Your pop, when I was little, spoiled the shit out of me before y'all were even around. He spoiled the hell took me
Damn.
everywhere. I don't remember a lot of it, but I see all the pictures, and I remember like sometimes going like to the like Dolores Park or like different places with him and whoever he was dating at that time, right? Because your pop is just your
He was a player
pop is
and
smooth. He,
he oh, I know this man. I mean, to this day, I think he's kind of changed his ways now, but I don't know.
I mean,
But yeah, he's always been a smooth
yeah,
cat.
your pop is smooth, man. He's a smooth guy, man, and he loved me like I was his own. He
He,
really did. From what my mom tells me and Thea's telling me, he loved me like I was his own. I still remember this one girlfriend he had. That she had this Camaro. I used to love her car. She had a nice car. And she was really pretty. Just I forgot. How old was I? Maybe 3 or 4. I don't know. But I
damn,
still remember like
you got a good memory for a 3 or 4 year old.
I don't remember like how old I was. I know I was little and yeah, he took me everywhere, man. He took me everywhere. But yeah, he was there for me. So anyway, like, not having pop around, I had, uncles that, that kind of did help out a little bit, but without that male guidance there, who else do you have but the people on the block? Who else do you have but your homies that you hang around with? Your teammates on the on your sports team, your friends from school, your friends from like, from wherever you live. And luckily for me, I think my generation helped out, like the generation just before me, they looked out for me. Because I hung out with a lot of dudes that were from like, certain sets, but they would tell me like, hey, go home, bro. Like, you don't be over here. Like, we see what you're doing. No, you're doing this and you're playing soccer, you're doing this and you're doing well. Go do that. We about to get into some shit. Get out of here. They took care of me pretty much. I learned game from that. I learned how to move from like songs that I listened to. It kept me kind of in check. Sure, it kind of guided me like in a chauvinistic kind of like path. Um, but it helped me make better decisions as a young man to not slip or get caught up or get jacked or get set up I had to learn on the fly. And the fact that, remember, we're first generation. So our parents are ESL. They don't know how to really move in like English San Francisco. They're trying to assimilate too at that time. So we got to consider that too. Like, did they mess up? Sure, they messed up, but show a little grace because we messed up. What excuse do we have, right? We talk about accountability. What excuse do
Mm-hmm.
we have when we're not ES?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
that is so true.
how do we have
That
all the
is,
resources they didn't have, and we're still trying to figure it out,
and we
right?
and we're still fucking
Right,
up.
right.
Damn, dude, that's
So
powerful.
you gotta show grace, and you gotta like grandma came up here with grandpa, and that has been like my ultimate motivation as to not be basic. They didn't come over here from Honduras for me to just be a basic dude. You know what I mean? Like that's set. You leave your whole family down there to come over here to a different country, and your times were way more difficult because y'all didn't have Google. Y'all couldn't read English. Y'all didn't have driver's licenses. Y'all didn't have college. So how can I just sit here and not do something with myself when they sacrifice for us? You know what I mean? So that's the way I see it. Like, they had to translate. Imagine, like, you and I, we're not ESL. When we go and, like, we get like a new phone contract, we don't know what the fuck that contract says, and we read English. We don't know what it says, right? Like, oh yeah, you know, for a year, okay, what's the, okay, this is gonna cost this much, okay, I'll sign. Boom. And then, oh, here's the fee for this, here's the fee for that. Well, how do I know that shit? Well, we're not well versed in legal jargon for a contract. So can you imagine what it was for somebody who was ESL?
That's so true, dude.
And we still had homes, and we still went to private schools. They made it happen so that they can afford.
We're definitely privileged in a way.
We're blessed for sure. But and we can't forget that, you know. So as much as, you know, we reflect and we say, you know, well, you know, we went through hard times. They went through the hard times with us, but we're alive. We're fed. We can talk smack now about them because they took care of us, right?
Yeah. And that's why I have a soft spot for my mom and dad, because I'm like, even though my upbringing it was still amazing. Like, I still had a lot, like, vacations. Dad was still at home here and there. Mom did everything she could to make sure we were good too. So, like, I definitely appreciate all those things. Of course, there's so much that I had to go through in my teen years and my 20s without that guidance. But I am grateful for them and who I am now, because the person I am now is nowhere compared to Veronica at 18. Not even last year. I feel like we should be evolving every single year, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. You got it right. Like, our parents did not come here for us to be basic. Yeah. That's one of my whys of why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's like, they did not struggle and have to do all of this just for us to sit on our ass, to do nothing, to scroll, you know, to live paycheck to paycheck.
And make excuses. Because I had them. I'll be the first to admit, I had excuses for everything. Why don't you do this? Oh, you know this. Why don't you do that? Oh, you know this. I had excuses. And it's okay to have your reasons or excuses for not moving to change or better yourself. But the point is, you got to make that choice, right? So I heard this good quote a couple times actually by the same person who pops up on my feed. Because I'm all about self-improvement and all that, so I get like motivational stuff all the time. So I seen this quote, and this girl said, she said, "Well, you're not changing, you're choosing." She said that was her favorite quote. And I said that shit to myself, like, hold on, like, that's deeper than I think. Let me think about this real quick. So if I'm over here being a gordo, right? If I'm being a gordo, it's because I'm not choosing to change my gordoness, right? So I'm at the gym. You know what I mean? Like, I got to be a strong dad, because now my daughter's going to be like, well, my dad can kick your dad's ass. Well, now I got to be that dad that kicks ass. So I got to be in shape. I got to be strong. You know what I'm saying? I got.
That's so great motivation right
there.
Yeah,
man. Like, I'm choosing to master myself. I'm choosing to do what most people don't, which is actually get up and go do it. Me and my peoples that I went to this school for the Army, we still chat back and forth, like the three of us. You know, we motivate each other about going to the gym and whatnot. And yesterday I'm at the gym, and I took pictures of, you know, my gym. She was in the kettlebells. I was doing a kettlebell workout. And my message on the picture was, if sexy was easy, everybody would be, right? If success
was easy,
everybody would be successful if success was easy. Of course you can go through. Everybody wants to be a winner, but they don't want to work to the win. They just want to jump from start to win. You got to put in the work. You got to choose to be better. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes it's fucking raining. Go for the run. Fuck it. You shower and you come back home. Sometimes it's cold as fuck outside. You don't want to go do push-ups or run. Guess what? It's hard. If sexy was easy, everybody would be. You got to put in the work. If you're choosing to stay there on the couch and eat fucking, burritos from El Fado and shit, and you're not working out, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be a chunky monkey. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to change the way you want to. If you want to make money and buy a house, guess what? That job you got may not be the end all be all for you. So what can you choose to do? Can you go get a certification in a trade? Join a union? Can you go back to school? Can you try to get promoted and get the next step up? What are you doing? What are you choosing to do to get better? And if you're choosing to do, then and then there you go. You get what you earn. I try to teach my son that, Jalen. I tell him
oh, I love that.
It's not. There's a certain, and I'm not trying to talk smack about the younger generations, right? But I want to talk about entitlement real quick, right? There's a certain sense of entitlement that I want to break with my kids. It's look, check it out. You don't deserve anything you don't earn. So when people say, "Oh, I deserve the best," "Oh, I deserve the most expensive bottle of champagne," why do you deserve it? What'd you do to earn it? Just because you breathe, that's why you deserve it? I breathe too. So what? Oh, well, I pay my rent on time. That's called adulting. That's what that means. That's not an achievement. You're living life. You're adulting. Yeah, you pay your rent on time. That good for you. That's what adults do, right? But what are you doing to better?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to stay in that apartment in Frisco, nothing wrong with that, by the way. I'm not talking smack about that, right? Some people, they're okay with, that's what they want. And that's cool. If that's what you want, then that's what you want. But if you want more for yourself, but you're choosing to do nothing about it, then you can't get mad at nobody else but yourself. And I was raised in Frisco. So we can say oh, but the system is rigged. Oh, but because I'm brown or because I'm black or whatever, oh, yes, there is some influence to that, right? But you can't let those setbacks define you. Just because the system is rigged doesn't mean you have to let it continue to rig you in a hard life. You can still try. And if you're not trying, then you just don't. It's like when people they mad about Trump being president, right? But did you vote? But are you registered though?
Probably some of them did.
Yeah, but are you registered to vote? Did you, so there's action that needs to be taken. You got to choose to try to change. And if you don't choose to change, then you're choosing to stay the same. So I'm teaching my son hey, look, you want to be a starter on your team? You want to get this, you want to get this car, you want to do this, you want to earn that, you can earn it. But you don't just out of nowhere just deserve the best. It doesn't work that way.
That's deep. Now, let me ask you, did you have any mentors growing up that helped guide you, or did you just kind of learn everything on your own? I know you said you you did it earlier, said that you had a group of friends that kind of were father figures in a sense that guided you, but did you have any mentors that have helped you shape your mindset now?
I can't definitively say that I had personal mentors. What I can say is that I learned about how to be a man by watching my uncles, by watching my dad, by seeing how they moved, how they didn't move, how they did move, their demeanor, how they spoke to people. Because as kids, man, we're very observant. So I was taking all like a sponge. I was taking all that in oh, okay, I should carry myself like this. I should say things like this. I should move like this. So no, personally, I didn't have any mentors. I've had a couple that have helped me grow professionally, right? Some of those lessons that I learned in my job, I try to apply a little bit as a dad or as a husband, right? And I hope that in doing so, I learn more. And then on the flip side, as a dad and as a husband, I learn lessons there that I try to apply in my professional realm as well. So no, I didn't really have many mentors.
Hey, well, it's pretty much self-taught, you learn from your experiences and the lessons. And I think that's huge. Imagine if you actually did have a mentor and how much more of an impact that could have been on your life too.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think about it all the time now. I'm like, at certain pivotal moments of my life, had my dad been there to give me his guidance, I may be in a better place. I may be, I don't know, man. I don't, I just feel that I had,
Shit would have been different for sure.
yeah, man. I had a lot of hard lessons, a lot of lessons that could have been mitigated by having, Pop around more from telling me, mijo, don't do this, or mijo, try this. I didn't have that. So a lot of hard lessons, man. Like, again, like, messed up friendships, messed up relationships, messed up, a lot of mess ups. That has helped me grow to where I'm at today, mentally and spiritually and emotionally.
We're definitely the ones that are breaking the generational trauma in our families. I will say that. I feel like we had to be the ones to go through it, to be the ones to break it and do something different and show our kids, our nieces and nephews, a different way of living, which is a really big job if you really think about it. So as we close down, I do have 2 questions for you. What advice would you give somebody who didn't grow up with their parents, whether it's their dad or their mom? What advice would you give a male to help him master himself?
Okay, the first one. You don't have to be the man. You just got to be a man. And I can expound on that if you want me to, but that's the first one. The second one is, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to make bad choices, as long as you don't let them define you and you learn from them. Third one, love and respect yourself. And I say that because a lot of I'm going to include myself. A lot of us don't know how to at a younger age. We're not taught to, but we all have some kind of value. We all have some kind of value to give, to contribute to society or our families and people that love us. So respect and love yourself. And if you respect and love yourself, you'll demand respect from others as well. If you're not happy with your situation, do something about it. Are there things in your way? Sure. Things will always be in your way, whether it's racism, systematic oppression, a rigged system, not having a dad around, not having a mom around, not having either parent, not having real guidance or mentorship. You may have like the worst hand that can be dealt, but you can still choose to do something about it. That means you got to put in the work. It goes along with the whole, you deserve, there's no entitlements here. You get what you earn. So choose to better your situation if you want to be better at whatever it is, whether it's running a faster 2-mile run, whether it's wanting to run a marathon, you have to work at it. You can't just wake up one day, I'm gonna go run a marathon. That's 23 fucking miles. Like you better go work. You better put in the work. It's not just gonna.
Yeah.
I ran a half a marathon. Never again.
You did?
No, hell yeah. Respect to runners. I'm never doing that shit.
Oh, that shit is
Now I
hard.
know why they're all hella skinny. That's, man. Anyway, that was the fourth one. What's the fifth one? What's the fifth one? Conflict.
Mm.
Conflict is often a byproduct of bad communication. Now, I'm gonna have to like elaborate on that a little bit. Conflict is a
Go for it.
byproduct of bad communication. And I say this as a friend, as a cousin, as a husband, as a brother, as a father, as a son. Conflict just means that there's not a good connection or a good understanding, maybe, right? So if I see something a certain way and somebody else sees it a different way, it doesn't mean that we have to be mad at each other or that you're my enemy or be petty towards one another. Look at this bitch, why she got to be like that, or why, you know what I'm saying, or bro, why you acting like a bull? Why you acting like, it doesn't have to be that. Um, it can be like, hey, look, this is how I see it. This is how I understand it. Now, what's huge is also being able to communicate it. In order to help with conflict, you got to be able to like look inside yourself and say, look, if I feel unheard and I feel like this conflict is not being resolved, am I communicating it clearly? So then that means that sometimes pull out a little notebook, write down your thoughts. And any guy out there that thinks that that's not manly or it's some bitch made shit, okay, you go ahead and be tough and think it's bitch made and continue having conflict. But you're going to age faster than me. Promise you. And it's going to kill you because that mental stress is, man, everything's connected. Remember what they said in that song? The head bone's connected to the neck, bones, all that shit. It's physiological. Your brain is connected. So if you're not trying to better communicate, then conflict is going to stay there. So those are my 5 things. And I don't remember them because there was 1,000 going through my head. But
No, you're good. Those are all really, really good advice to give to men out there. I mean, even for myself as a woman, I'm like, those things are huge. And the first one, I think you said it was like, you don't have to be a man.
you want to hear about that one?
Yeah, I
You
do.
want to hear?
Before we close off.
Okay.
Yeah, go into the first one.
You don't have to be the man. You have to be a man. Okay.
There we go.
Being the man has to do with how you feel other people perceive you. You act in a disingenuous fashion, right? So it's not truly who you are because you're too worried about what others think about who you are or what you are. So you don't have to be the man. You don't have to be the Mac, the person I was trying to be when I was in the street, when I was out there, breaking hearts and shit. Like that didn't make me the man. That didn't make those could have possibly been Mrs. Quintanilla now. But I was young and I was ignorant and I was stupid and I was trying to be the man, right? Just an example. Being a man has a lot to do with self-accountability. That means that you're willing to accept that you're not always going to be right, that you need to be able to say, I'm wrong sometimes. And you need to be able to apologize for any transgressions that you may do towards others and without the but. So, for example, Vero, I'm sorry that I made you feel that way, but I was in this state of mind, so it's a justification of bullshit. So am I apologizing to you or am I apologizing for me acting a certain, am I apologizing because, and then justifying, oh, I'm sorry that I said that, but I was pissed off. The fuck? So are you really sorry?
Mm-hmm. Making it an excuse.
Yeah. So can you just sit there and say, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I said that and I hurt your feelings and I made you feel that way. I was wrong. That's part of being a man, not the man. Knowing that not
That's
perfect.
powerful.
You know, you're not going to be perfect. Now, you don't have to meet somebody else's expectations. Just meet your own. What you feel in here.
That's powerful. Accountability is huge. And that's something I also had to learn myself too. When you're able to hold yourself accountable, I think it makes you just, I feel like we've always looked at it in a negative way. Like no one wants to say sorry or be held accountable for something wrong that they did. But
it's hard.
There's power. Yeah.
It's hard to be.
And there's power in it.
Yeah. There's a lot of power for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
What you're saying is absolutely right. There's an immense amount of power. When you can hold yourself accountable, that means you can then forgive yourself. That means you can then forgive somebody else and be like, yeah, you hurt me, but I was a part of this relationship too. You didn't do that alone. I was there with you. You were my friend. You were my girlfriend. You were my lover. You were my partner, whatever the case is, right? You hurt me, but I was with it. I was there with you. So there's two of us. Or I hurt you. And if you can forgive them and forgive yourself, that's huge. And that eliminates or helps mitigate a lot of conflict that can lead to like bad situations. Drinking too much or domestic violence cases. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to ever get to that point. So yeah, holding yourself accountable. Like sometimes you just got to take a break. You know what? Right now, I want to hit you in the face, but I don't want to hit you in the face. So let me step away real quick. Let me give me a couple days to kind of like go through this, and then we can re-engage and talk about what went wrong. Hopefully, without one of us getting like defensive. Communication.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, accountability is huge. It gives you, like you said, it gives you a lot of power. You can better regulate.
Yeah, it's huge. It's something we weren't taught, you know, how to deal with conflict. We didn't have the tools.
Oh, we were.
So
we were taught.
Well,
I didn't say it was the right way, but we were taught how to deal with conflict.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So that's why.
That's true.
That's why we struggle now to deal with it in a healthy way.
You're right. Yeah. You're right.
Don't forget in your journey of enlightenment and your journey of mastering yourself that everything you know you've been taught. Behavior is taught. It's not innate. You know that. Behavior is taught. So how you behave, how you conduct yourself, how you communicate, how you perceive things, you've been taught. So yeah, we've been.
I accidentally said it incorrectly. What I was trying to say was I wasn't taught the healthy way.
Yeah.
How to deal with conflict. Because I'm aware I was taught.
Yeah.
Just not the right way, unfortunately.
Talk to Suazo.
Suazo.
Yep.
Shout out to the Suazo family.
I love them. I love them all. I wouldn't be me without them.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. One thing for sure about our family is like we're very family oriented. And we ride for each other.
Yeah.
For sure. There's a lot of love there.
Look, I don't talk to y'all all the time, but I think about y'all. I got all y'all birthdays on my Google Calendar.
Oh, that's hella cute. I have your birthday on my calendar too.
I got all y'all birthdays on my Google Calendar. And then whenever it pops up, I'm like, dude, I'm such an asshole. I don't even talk to my cousins no more. Like, I can't just say happy birthday and like, you know, my birthday cousin, hey. Weirdo. Like,
yeah, you can.
I know. I just like
you know how many random people that I don't talk to be hitting me up just on my birthday?
Yeah, but then
it's fine.
But that ain't real. That ain't real. On social media,
I mean, I get what you're saying. Well, some people text me actually out of the blue, but I think it's just the gesture. You know, people are taking the time out of their day to just say happy birthday. They didn't have to.
yeah.
No one put a gun to their head. You know what I mean? So to me, I think it's still special, even though you don't hear from them. I think it's nice. So don't feel bad if you randomly text me on my birthday.
Yeah, man. No,
I actually enjoy it.
I love y'all, man. The level of love that I have for you guys has never changed, except for stronger. It's never diminished whatsoever. It doesn't matter how long we go without talking. It doesn't matter if you pissed me off and I pissed you off. We're pissed off because we love each other. Because if we didn't give a shit about each other, we wouldn't be pissed off. Right?
That's true.
Because I know we're good at cutting people off.
That's
right?
true.
Okay, so
Yo.
I mean, it's the truth, man. Like for example, like Evelyn, she'll call me and she'll talk shit to me. What the fuck? Like, no, just happy birthday, cabrón. I'm like, she's like, old ass, and I just laugh because it's like we left off the conversation a year ago and we picked it right back up where it got left off. There's never no diminishing of love whatsoever. So I love all of y'all, even the ones that I wasn't even close to. Your sisters, the younger ones. I
Yeah, the babies.
I didn't know them as like I knew you guys because you guys got to the age where I was at grandma's house and I was out being the man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
now he's a man.
Yeah, took a long time, to get rid of my pendejo ways, but I'm man enough to admit it now.
And that makes you a man.
At least I like to think it does.
Be proud of it.
I like to think it does.
Honestly, I see a lot of growth in you, and I do see you as a man. Like, you're thinking, like the conversations that we have, like you're very woke and you're very self-aware, and I think that is huge and something to hold on to. And your kids are lucky to have you as a dad. Seriously, not to get all corny, but it's nice to see just how we were raised, and how we didn't have the upbringing that we wanted, but you're making it your mission to do the opposite of that. And although I don't see you all the time and I can't see how you're raising your kids, just by the way you're talking and just by the way, you're talking about your journey, like you're already doing a phenomenal job. So just keep doing that.
So it's nice to hear because we don't, it's hard to come by as a dad, as a man to get any words of affirmation. There's, we don't tell our girlfriends, we don't tell our wives that we're stressed the fuck out every day, especially when we live together and we got kids. We don't tell y'all that because the last thing we want to do is stress y'all out because it's my responsibility to provide and protect. And
I'm sure.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No,
go ahead. Finish.
And like by provision, I don't mean like just give you money, but be there for my wife and the kids. To be there for the guidance, to not go out drinking with my work buddies, to come home every day, to be there, to be present. To think about, man, like, what am I going to have when I retire? When am I going to have? Am I going to buy another house? And how are we going to be living if we're trying to go back to the Bay Area? Shit's expensive. Like, all that shit is fucking stressful. Buying a house out here in Texas, yeah, I got a house, but this ain't where the fuck I want to live. I'm from the Bay. I'm trying to see my Niners and my Giants. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to go back home.
Hey.
And out here, like, people move differently. It's a different culture. So it's stressful as a man. Like, we don't tell y'all the things that goes through our head. We think about all that. Finances, the kids, what we're eating, what we're not eating, bills, how we're going to make it happen. We don't know. Sometimes we don't know how we're going to make it happen. We just know we got to make it happen. There is no failed. I can't come home to my partner and say we can't pay the mortgage this, or you know what I mean? Like, oh, we're losing our car for repossession. I can never allow myself to get to that point. So as a man, like hearing those words you told me, like it's huge. It helps us. That that edge of being like, man, if I just fell over this edge right now, they'd be okay with the insurance. But that's not what they want. They want you around. So when we hear words like that, words of affirmation, it helps men out a lot, especially when it comes from the kids.
Mm-hmm. And I know you mentioned it's hard as a man to open up and be vulnerable to your wife or just in general about all the stressors that you deal with. But there's a lot of women out there that are willing and ready to hear you, to hear what you're going through and not judge you because you're stressing over, money or stressing over whatever it is that you're going through. And we just want to hold that space for you. And we want to be there for you like you are for us. Not all, right? There's still some women that are still working on themselves internally. Like we all have to be doing the work in order to be able to provide that space. But what I'm saying is allow yourself to be vulnerable, allow yourself to open up, and you'd be surprised at maybe the reaction you may get, from your wife or your kids or whoever. And I'm not saying this just to you, but in general for anyone. Like women out there do want to hold space for you. We want to be there for you. We want to change the way that society has made it seem for the longest. And we're human at the end of the day. We all have feelings. We all have emotions. We all are going through shit. We're all stressing. And we really need to be there for each other through the good and the bad. That's just my thoughts.
I hope that's true. I hope that that's true, because that means that the younger men that are coming after me will have a better way of life.
Yeah. And I hope so too. And I think that's why it falls on us too, the older generation, to really do the work and to pass down our knowledge and our wisdom and be that person. Lead by example. So for instance, me, I'm a woman, so I'm trying to empower more women to work on themselves mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And it's like a ripple effect where I pass my wisdom on to the next person, then it goes on and on and on. And then hopefully, as the youngins are growing up, they're going to have a different relationship, and I do see it already, because I've talked to a lot of the Gen Zers, and their mentality is way different compared to ours growing up. So they're already way better off than we are. And there's a lot of men that are in their early 20s that already are very emotionally intelligent and are going to therapy and are open to that. And I'm just like, that makes me really happy. It really does, because it shows that things are changing and the future is looking bright. I mean, besides everything else that's coming to shit, like internally, I feel like people are slowly it's gonna be the opposite of how we were raised.
And then the question becomes 100, 200, 300 years from now, how that impacts society. What that does.
Shit, I wish I could still be around to see it. Maybe I'll see it from a telescope at the top.
Hey. Send me a gift card.
I got you. But is there anything you want to say before we wrap up? Anything you want to leave them with?
Yeah.
Or you know what? How about this? What's one small action men can take to start showing up for themselves? One small action that you can leave them with. Well, just like one action that they can take. Like literally they're starting from scratch. So they're like, what's one thing they can start doing to change that habit of not showing up for themselves?
Okay.
I mean, it's very general, but
So just take the first step, whatever that may be. Whatever goal you've got, take that first step. If you can imagine like a stairway, right? Imagine you're like standing out in the middle of nowhere and there's a stairway going all the way through the fucking clouds. And you don't see the top of it, but you know what you want is at the top of the damn thing, but you don't see it though. And you're like, well, fuck, what do I got to do? Well, you got to take all them damn steps. So take the first step and then continue taking the steps after that till you get to where you need to be. So take the first step and be the first thing you can do to whatever you want to do to better yourself in life and be a better person or whatever you're trying to do. Take the first step.
like that. Take the first step, y'all. Just do it.
That's what
You're the only person holding you back.
See, that's what I didn't want to say. Just do it.
Huh.
Because then it's like,
Just do it. But it's true. Like, just do it. You're literally the only person that's holding you back. Like, that was the biggest point, like, change for me, is realizing it's you that's holding yourself back. Nobody else is. And yes, there are circumstances in our life that factor into what's going on. But, like, it comes down to you, the person in the mirror.
Michael Jackson said that.
Oh my God, he did. I'm gonna change with the man in the mirror.
Yeah, he's looking at him. You gotta look at the man in the mirror.
Damn.
And then just take the first step.
Look at the man in the mirror.
Yeah. Or the woman.
You heard it here. You heard it here.
Or
look at the man or the woman.
All inclusive, right? Look at yourself in the mirror. Or they self. Or
look at yourself in the mirror.
I don't know. I don't look. I'm a little older.
Look at that. How about this? Look at thyself in the mirror.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
And that's where the change comes from.
Nice.
All right. Well, I appreciate having you today and having this conversation. It takes a lot for anyone to just come on here and talk about their life. It's vulnerable and it's tough, but I really do appreciate you and hearing your story, a little bit of your story, because I know that there's a lot still to unpack and there's a lot that we don't know, but just getting a glimpse of it, I know will help somebody who's listening. So I appreciate you. And hopefully we'll have a Suazo reunion soon.
Hopefully.
That would be nice.
And thank you for not asking questions that were too hard, because thank you for taking it easy on me.
I got you. Next time we hang out, I'm gonna give you the hard questions. All right, folks. Thank you for joining in. We appreciate you. Normally at the end I always have like a Q&A, but I think we have more than enough content. So we're gonna leave it off here. And the next episode drops March 31st. So stay tuned.